hand. Thank you. And then I'll turn it over to you. I'm going to make you co-host so you could share your screen and then you could share your slides that way.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So welcome all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is our 12th Spring 2021 Parent Power Group Workshop. We're really excited that you all are here. And I know I said it earlier, but in case you missed it, please do a virtual check-in by putting your name and zip code into the chat box. At the end, we are going to do a raffle to be entered in to potentially win one of two $10 gift cards to the location of your choice, either Jamba Juice or Starbucks. So I'm going to keep moving as you all do that. Again, thank you for joining us. The Wooten Center is a nonprofit organization founded by Myrtle Rump in 1990 to honor her son who was tragically killed in a drive-by shooting. The center provides free after-school and summer programs for students in grades 3 through 12 in the South Los Angeles area, as well as programs such as our Parent Power Group workshops to support their families. The workshops are presented in partnership with the Green Foundation and other donors, which can be found at the Wooten Center website /donors. As I said earlier, this is our 12th Spring 2021 workshop. These are free every Monday, same time, same place from 6 to 7. Last month was family wellness, and I think we're going to continue that theme into June. To next week, we will not be having a parent power workshop as we realize that parents are wrapping up the school year, kids are getting out of school, but we're going to start back strong on the 21st with the basics of gardening, and then on the 28th, focusing on technology and multimedia. But tonight's workshop will be focused on incoming college freshmen. Dr. Bridges is a retired 30-plus year college professor. He's also a board member of the Southern California, excuse me, sneezing fit, my apologies. Southern California Coalition on Black African Americans, Black American Affairs and Western Regional Council on Black American Affairs. Tonight, he will be presenting his talk titled 10 Points for the First Year of College. Thank you so much, Dr. Bridges, for joining us this evening. Excuse my sneezing fit. I guess there's a first time for everything. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, sir, and make you co-host.
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Well, thank you everyone for being with us this evening. It is a joy and a pure pleasure that we've been asked to share with us some thoughts, and that's what they're going to be. I've had several conversations with Dr. Matthews as to how the best to present, if you will, or share information this evening. And I would like for each and every one of you to sort of go back a little bit and position yourself as that freshman or first year entering college. I believe it's important that when we work with young people and students, that we remember that's just who they are, the young people. A lot of times we work and reach out on the assumption that they are on the same plane as we are. And that's one of the things that in teaching, we always have to be sensitive to reach the student where they are, that we can take them and elevate them as far as they can go. And it's very important to us for us to understand that, because as you start is how you're going to finish. So with that, I'm going to attempt to bring this up on the screen. Okay. Let me go back. Let me stop. Go back. Because I want to exit full screen. Still didn't let me do it. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Just bear with me 1 second here. All right. Okay, are you there?
We could hear you. We can't
Okay.
see your screen yet.
You
sir.
can't see my screen yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Hang on, hang on, hang on.
No worries, no worries.
Hang on. It's one of the things that I'm still working on, and that is to be a little more savvy, if you will.
As am I. As am I.
Now you would know that I did have this thing all prompt and ready.
It happens to the best of us. Do you have it?
What I'm attempting to do is bring up my screen, but every time I do that,
Is it not letting you?
I get the sidebars, and I'm trying to just bring
So
up.
when you pull it up, first you have to play the PowerPoint before you share it. You can't click play and
That is what I'm trying my best to do, in a way that I don't have the side screens. I got the full screen.
Right, right.
But when I do that, I can't get back to you.
Oh, you can't see us.
No.
Do you want to share it? Do you want to send it to me, sir? And then I could share it and you could just have me navigate it for you?
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do that.
Okay.
Hang on.
Plan B.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hold on.
It all happens at once, doesn't it?
Hold on.
Yes, you become awfully popular. Right?
Absolutely.
Hold on. Go back. Okay. Let me exit.
So if you pull up your...
Here we go. I got you. Okay. I got you. See me?
I could see you. I can't see your screen just yet.
Okay.
So if...
Am I up now?
No.
Can you see me? No?
No.
I can see you.
So you're going down to the bottom and you're pressing the share screen. And then you're able to pick which screen you want to share. Do you have that capability?
Okay. What about that?
Oh, something's coming up. We can see it. We can see the PowerPoint.
You can see the PowerPoint. Well, that's what I wanted. But
there you
now
go.
I want to, hang on.
Okay.
Do this.
There you go. Can you still see us?
Ta-da. Again, thank you for your patience. What we're looking at is simply a brief. This is taken really from a semester course, believe it or not, which we teach in the community college through several of our Umoja programs, so that students coming in can be acclimated to the college life. It's a difference. It is not high school. In elementary and high school, particularly in elementary, you're being instructed. High school, you're being educated. In college, we call it higher education for a reason. You're taking your basics and you're expanding your basic knowledge of understanding as it relates to education. So we must make sure, first of all, parents, that we understand there's a transition, and that in making that transition, we cannot present ourselves as we did in high school. And we'll go through some of those steps that will illustrate that. But initially, what we want to do, and okay, here we are. We want to look at this as a jump start. We're going to part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 1, we're going to look at it as transitioning. Part 2, the integration of that transition. And in part 3, the revisions of that transition. In other words, what did we transfer into? What are we really attempting to do? And one of the things that we do not want to approach this is to get a higher education to get a job. So let's make sure we understand what higher education truly means and what it represents. For example, we're talking about what happened here. Why did that do that? Okay.
Maybe if you click that where it says resume slideshow.
Okay, right there. All right, thank you. All right, and let's just take a quick look at transitioning, because we may not have time to cover every one of these things, but we do want you to take note, and I have questions. We'll leave time at the end for questions. But understanding the college culture in your campus, setting your goals and staying motivated, managing your time and energy, key. Cultivating relationships and appreciating diversity. Because for many of us, we're going to come from an environment that is somewhat enclosed, meaning that even in our own neighborhoods, even though those neighborhoods are diverse, we're still familiar with many of people from our neighborhoods. But when we go to the college campuses, it's going to be a greater diversity that we're going to become a part of. Part 2, integrating into the system. How do we make sure that we're doing that? Through our reading, through our listening, and through our note taking. In other words, our skill sets, which leads to the brief 6, the learning, memory, and studying for tests. The brief 7, writing, researching, and information literacy. You are becoming a resource within yourself. You are becoming and developing yourself to be a resource in moving forward. And we'll get more into that. Part 3, revisions, making healthy choices. You are making choices not for the moment, but for the rest of your life. What it is that you plan and choose today is setting your path for your future. So we want to make sure that we have a good understanding as it relates to which way our toes are pointed when we take these steps. Another part of the thing is planning from one semester to the next. And we'll break that down why that is so important. And preparing for a career for life. Why am I doing this? Why am I, if I go to a community college or either a 4-year university, why am I doing this? And it has to be more than just a notion. It has to be deliberate and purposeful. Okay. So with that, let's take a quick look at where we are, and that's the college campus. And here's a little statement from a student. Oh, let me go back. Sorry about that. I know college is supposed to be different from high school, but how will I be what to make this transition? Now you got to understand. I will I be totally lost? Now here's an 18-year-old that was interviewed and making that transition, and that's a good question. Yes, you will be lost. You will be lost because you're coming from a familiar environment to one that is totally unfamiliar to you. It's going to take you a moment to know where the bathroom is. And that's very important. Where do I go to find my counselor? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are the things that we are strongly recommending and strongly suggest that once you make up your mind to go and have been accepted to a college campus, that you go walk that campus before you actually start. Don't wait till the day that you start class. Do that before. In fact, it's a good idea to start this process, parents, with your students who are up and coming. You can start exposing them to college as a freshman in high school. Why not? Why not make sure that they go to these college career days so that they become familiar? Going to college will create a change of your concept of yourself. And this is why I'm saying if they're exposed earlier, they'll have a better idea as to who they are and what they are going into. It's very important. Those relationships, the outlooks. At the end of your college experience, it will result in a new transformation. You should never, ever, and remember, I'm talking to you as a student now. You should never engage on a college campus and come off of that campus not understanding where you started and where you are when you finish. You should know there was a great transformation. Otherwise, you're going to leave there doing the same thing that you did attitude wise instead of making that transition. Formation to be more thoughtful and more confident as you go through the process. This is important. This is why they earlier expose the students to the college life, particularly if they are the first one in the family, the household, to going into college. It's important that they become familiar. Higher education. When you go into higher education, you should have higher expectations. That's why it's called higher education. Higher education higher expectations. As I pointed out, there's a difference between high school, a difference between full-time work and college. College is a full-time endeavor. Learning is a full-time endeavor. It's how you create your time, position yourself to learn is important. We say, well, I'm a part-time student. No, you're not. You are a full-time student in a part-time status. But when you're learning, you're a full-time student. Learning is full-time. If you take the attitude, then you will approach it as part-time, and your learning skill will follow that as part-time, or I'll catch up with it as I can. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. And it's important to understand that so that you set your track. Once you start, you push through. You push through. We'll come back to that. Go for the goal. Remember the silver, meaning supplies, instructors, expectations, learning, vocabulary, effort, and responsibility. All of the above. Okay. I'm looking for my little Q button here. I don't see it. Next. Okay, here we go. Our next saying, if you guys can see that, I can't quite see it on kind of my screen. But here's another from an older student who is speaking about their experience. How college works. College has schedules. You go to, you meet the mandates in those schedules. And from doing that, you'll be evaluated and you will receive a grade. There's a schedule you must adhere to, go to class. There's a lot more mechanics to this, but time won't allow me to go into, if I'm asking that, if something that I'm scanning over here that you want a more specific response, please make a note and we'll get into that. But basically, what are you looking at? How does it work? You have a schedule of courses according to what it is that you are trying to achieve. That's why it's important to have an idea. Remember, you can always change, but you must have an idea to position yourself to change. So you know where you're coming from and what you're changing into. Schedule, know the schedule. Grades, you're going to be evaluated. College resources, how college works, what are the resources? There's a campus. We already told you that you need to familiarize yourself with the campus. When you get your catalog or your schedule, there's always a map in there. Familiarize yourself with the locations. Remember the comment, I was joking, but it's serious, about the potty. Where are they? The bookstore, the lunchroom, your classes, those buildings. How long will it take you to go from point A to point B? This is very important that you walk these distances before class start, a week or two before. Campus catalog. Please make note of this, parents. That's the key to graduation, because that's going to show all of the classes that are required to meet what? The degree requirement. Note the date on the catalog that you are entering or the student is entering, because that's what they're going to be held responsible for. You're entering college, August, year 2021. That is your start point. 2 years later, There may be another catalog, but your start date is always August 2021. That's what you're going to be required. That's going to list all the courses that you're going to be required to take and pass to meet your degree requirement. So what do? You take your students, get that catalog, and immediately make a list of every class that they are required to take and pass. And as they take those courses, check them off. Check them off. Check them off. My wife did that with our two sons. And there was no question and no filibustering what class they were supposed to be taking. On the other hand, colleges, universities may not schedule a class that you need in that particular semester, okay? Or try semester or quarter, whether you're on a quarter or semester system. So if it's not available then, you got to make sure that you note that so that as soon as it's available, you can take it, okay? Otherwise, instead of getting out in 4 years, 5 years, you'll be like me, 6 years getting out. I told you I was a slow learner. Right?
Not to interrupt you, Dr. Bridges, but
Yeah.
we're still on brief 1, understanding college culture and your campus. That's the slide we're seeing.
Okay, well, I feel you. I need to speed up. Okay, let's go to brief, managing your energy, identifying time. What zaps your energy? You need to come up with a plan to show Sunday through Saturday, and where your time is going, so that you can schedule. You can't wait. No procrastination, no pitfalls. These things will become apparent to you as you watch what you're doing from day to day. You will never get more time. You'll never get more time. Okay.
Sir, I'm sorry. We're still on an old slide. I don't know if you've progressed, but our screen is showing the first slide, the brief 1.
No, mine is not. Okay, let me try this again. What do you see now?
We see brief 1, understanding college culture and your campus.
Oh, wow.
We just seen black screen only.
Okay.
Maybe you stop sharing and then try to.
Let me see. Let me stop sharing
Yeah.
and let me go back in. Okay, what do you see now?
It's coming up now. Let's see.
How college works?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, all right. You see your story?
Yes.
Okay. What is your story? And that goes back to where I was starting about understanding yourself, who you are, and why you're there. What are you doing? What is your purpose for being there? You should even write this down, your background, your values, your dreams, and refer to them periodically. Put it in a journal, your background, your values, your dreams. And then you're setting up your goals. And this becomes your mission statement as you're moving forward. And you refer to this from time to time because they can change the pathway that you're going. You may have to take some detours, but your overall goal remains the same. And this will help you stay on track and measure your priorities. Remember what I said about the catalog, going to the catalog, taking the classes that you're going to be required to take, lining them, and as you take them, cross them off. This helps keep you on track, help you to manage your priorities. Then you get a look at identifying your motivators. And when you understand what motivates you, you can overcome the obstacles that will come from before you from time to time. And this is what causes you to be resilient, that stick to itness, that no matter what happens, you're going to get through this process, because there's going to be many a day that you're going to say, do I really need this? Do I really need to be about going before that professor, taking this test, just the whole 9 yards? So you got to be understand that it's not, first of all, it's just not you in the process. And this is why we look at this next item here. It says you create a support system, your family, your friends, your community. Your community is very important, because the more community support you have, trust me, the more elevated you're going to become in the overall process, knowing that you have community support. Okay? Time is on your side. No, it isn't, because time is going to move forward constantly. So that means you must get organized. You must supply yourself for success. That means mentally as well as mentally as well as physical or material wise. Space considerations. Where are you going to study? Can you find a place to study? Can you find a study group to go with? And more importantly, like anything else, set up a schedule, same time and same place. Why? Because it becomes a ritual. It becomes a habit. And once you form that habit, you won't break it. It's time for college, making time for class, understanding you know when the class starts, you have to make the time. If it's, I've taught classes 7 o'clock in the morning, start time. I've taught classes 9 o'clock at night, start time. So you got to make sure that whatever that time is, you're ready for it. You got to set your schedule. That's what you do. And once you get in the habit of doing that, you can analyze your time. And then you can, what we call backdating or a catch-back plan of management. You see, but you got to know what it is that's before you so that you can manage it. That's why knowing the schedule of the class, you don't wait till the first day of school to do that. As soon as the schedules are available, you get a schedule and you begin to plan accordingly. Of course, this will help you with your energy. If you control your time, you will maximize your energy. I had a schedule that it started 5 o'clock in the morning. And for a 2-hour period, that was my time. Why? The house was quiet. The phone wasn't ringing. And I didn't let anything else disturb me for that 2-hour period. But you can't wait to do that. You have to set and plan for that. Procrastination speaks for itself. It's a great pitfall. And these are some of the other things you see in blue that are listed that will cause you to procrastinate. Cultivating relationships, very, very important. The people that you're going to come in contact with are going to be your friends for the rest of your life. Why? Because you're going through a professional training, a professional world or preparation. So when you finish, you're going to have a great deal in common, whether you're in the same major or not. Relationships are built upon the experiences, those learning experiences that you're going through. This is why if you make friends with folk who are in your major, that's your support system that you're going to grow into. And these are the people that you will be friends with after college because of that experiences. They're your professors. Who's your professor? You should always introduce yourself to your professor before the class. Advisors, of course, before you start the school year, take time to be with your advisor as well as your counselor. Who's your learning support staff at that institution? What organizations are on those campuses, such as Umoja, Puente, and other college campus associated organizations that are there to help you adjust to the college life. Of course, as I'm pointing out, your classmates, your family, and your friends. Who in your family has gone to college or has some professional experience that you're interested in that you can talk to? What friends outside of the family, people that you know who are into a particular field that you want to do? The next item is diversity. You're going to look at gender, sexual orientation, racial, ethnic, culture, other kinds of diversity, religion, teaching styles. Teaching styles, you're going to run into different teaching styles. People are going to come to you that may have an accent, but you're teaching your class. So you got to adjust to that. All right. These are the things, and when we look at diversity, that goes beyond what we commonly call diversity, because these kinds of diversity venues all have an impact upon our learning curve at these institutions. With so much calamity in the media today, you're going to be impacted, whether you realize it or not, through stereotypes, prejudice, discrimination, etc., etc., etc. One way or other, it will impact you directly as well as indirectly. Only thing I'm saying is have a level of consciousness about why you are there in the first place, so you don't get overwhelmed with things that will take you away from your studies. Okay. We could spend a week on that alone. Resolving conflict. If you do run into some of these situations, know on that campus who you can go to. Every institution, publicly and privately today, will have some form of kind of conflict resolution and or someone on these campus who are properly educated and trained to deal with a conflict. If not, then they will have outreach programs to assist you. But it's up to you when you go through your orientation to know who and where to go. Creating boundaries when problems arise, it comes full circle. Know what's on the campus. All right. College reading, you are on a higher level of reading and comprehension. It's very important that you understand that much of the college experience is just that, reading and research. It is not high school where you most of the answers were given to you. You got a study guide. Go study this. I'm gonna test you on this. Well, in college, it's a little different. You'll get a book and you're told to read, and on a certain date, I'm gonna test you. So that means you have to read not only for comprehension, but your syllabus, which will outline what the instructor wants you to understand. And if you do not understand those reading assignments, make an appointment with the instructor and discuss what the instructor wants. What does the instructor want you to leave with at the end of the semester? So the instructor is going to be looking at you critically when it comes to your level of understanding and comprehension as it relates to your reading. And when we read, there's skimming and scanning. Write this down. Note the difference between skimming and scanning. Skimming and scanning. They are skill traits that if you learn going through the process. Questioning, of course, and evaluation, a part that I've already alluded to. You are building a resource in yourself. Write questions down. Even if you feel that you know the answer to, you want to verify with the instructor, with another student, etc., that you're on the right track. Do your own evaluations. Grade yourselves as you go through the process. Again, developing your reading skills, building your vocabulary. But I want you look at the next item, the art of listening. Remember, God gave us 2 eyes, 2 ears, but 1 tongue. 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 tongue. We want to know that we use our ears and our eyes before this tongue gets to wagging. Okay? Remember what you have heard. Develop creative listening. Okay? And what you don't understand, don't be prideful and not writing it down and going back and questioning it. Note taking. Very, very professional. Every profession teaches note taking according to its profession. You understand and design your own note taking as it relates to your courses, how the information is presented. You develop a shorthand, outlining. And there is the Cornell system. You can write that down, the Cornell system that could help you evaluate these things. Okay? Note taking, art, music, literature, languages, science, it doesn't matter. You must review your notes. Within 12 hours of taking your notes, please go back and review your notes, or it's like a dream. It will dissipate. The longer you get away from those notes, the less you're going to remember. This is your brand in college. That's your learning process. What you're learning in college is branding you. As I told you in the beginning, is who you are and what you desire to become. Thus, it'll bring you into the memory game. Understanding to who and what you are and where you want to go. You will come up with these little devices and strategies on your own to help you to get there. What are you doing? You are living the dream that you're moving to a position of reality. It's like everything else you do. If you want to be that great basketball player, you got to be out there on the court with the basketball in your hand. If you want to be that violin player, you got to have that violin under your chin. You want to be whatever, the best teacher, a chemist, a hairdresser, you name it. You got to see yourself in the game. You got to mimic it. And therefore you develop your memorization strategies as you go through the process. What you perfectly practice is what you will become. Creative thinking, analytical thinking, critical thinking, problem solving. Think, study, a place and time to do that. Talking or taking the test, excuse me. Maintaining what? Integrity during the test. In this particular session, we can spend 2 days on that, integrity and test taking. And a lot of that comes through the preparation for taking the test. How do I prepare myself? That's where the integrity comes in. Am I properly preparing myself? Or I'm just going for the okie doke. Okay, well, it's going to be a multiple choice. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, no, no. That's how you beat the anxiety. That's how you create the true integrity about test taking, through preparation. More time you spend in preparing yourself, the less and less anxiety. College writing assignments, I won't dwell on that. That's something according to the professor, but these are some of the things. And when it comes to the professors, it varies. But there are some basics that you need to know about writing. If you didn't take a writing course in high school, or you weren't in the AP courses, you need to get one of these books, Reading and Writing for Dummies. I'm serious. Reading and Writing for Dummies. And just reading through those pages and doing those exercises will give you hands and heads up over and help you develop your writing and reading skills. Getting help, peer reviews, tutoring, how much help you need, it depends on where you feel you are. You'll be creating a thesis and organizing details. These are things that comes with the higher educational process. You're going to be asked to make speeches, presentations. Understand your stress. Handling stress. Stress is like anything else. You got to work yourself through it. You got to work yourself through it. You got to identify it, and you got to work yourself through it. Are you eating well? Are you getting good sleep? Are you into the recreational things that takes your attention away? Healthy living, okay? Planning for the next semester, that's your future. Don't wait to get into it and decide. You do it before. Now, here's a big question that always comes up. Financing, particularly with the parents. Parents, scholarships. They're there. These companies, particularly since the COVID, have increased, believe it or not, their scholarship offerings. You have to have your students reach out to them. Targets, Costco, Walmart. These people have scholarships. The more you write, the more you can get. Student loans. I caution student loans because it's a loan and you got to pay it back. Go for the scholarships, but also know what loans you are. Veterans, vets, take advantage. Work study. Well, no matter what career line of endeavor, there's going to be a work study. I don't care what it is, where you can work, learn, and study. Tuitions. If you work for an employee, do they give you tuition money? I was fortunate. I worked for General Electric Company. So when I worked on my master's, they paid for it. Okay. Applying for financial aid, know where that financial aid office is on your campus. You can get waivers for each semester. Okay. Books, transportation costs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, these decisions continue. Is college right for you right now? You have to decide. Benefits, as I'm pointing out. All of these things are very important as you go through this process. Now, like I said, this is a hairy way to get through this. This is just some of the sources that I used to make this presentation. Create a budget. Learn how to handle those credit cards, because these banks will give you credit cards on these campuses so that you can get in debt. Trust me. You have to learn to manage your credit cards. Creating a life, your mission, your values, your goals. And most of all, whatever you do, engage in your community. Remember the community that you came from, which contains your family, and be prepared to identify with the community that you have come from. Thank you for your time. Wow. Right. Time goes by when you're having fun. And I know it was sort of harried, and with my ineptness with the technical, but I think you got an idea. This is recorded. The things that are on the screen are easy to follow. You can Google these things for more information and more reference. Do I have a time for at least one question?
I think so. If it's okay with you all, we are going to go just a few minutes over to open up time for questions for Dr. Bridges. I just want to let you know, sir, that there was a post in the chat saying, thank you so much for your presentation and seeds of wisdom. It's extremely helpful. You are very inspiring to listen to. Good stuff.
Bless you.
Lots of thank you, lots of stuff in the chat. Thank you so much for speaking with us. And I'm going to open it up for people who want to ask any questions on some of the stuff we talked about. If it's okay with you all, I'm going to go ahead and start the question. One of the things that you talked about, sir, was about when you were talking about reading, knowing the difference between skimming and scanning. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I don't know what the difference
We're
is.
skimmers. That's how you were taught. See, this is important to understand. Most in our society here in the United States, the highest education in the general public that you will ever read will be on the 5th grade level of reading. Because that's where everything is geared, until you get into the more technical application of things. Your newspapers, your public journals, and everything are centered around 5th grade level of reading and comprehension. Okay. Now, because of that, we just skim. All right, and we look for keywords. You have done one of those things where you're asked to read a paragraph or two and certain letters or words were left out? Have you ever done
yeah.
that? But
Oh,
you
yeah.
still got the
Oh, yeah.
essence and you could respond to it.
Mhm.
That's how you read.
Okay.
Now you feel me? Now,
Yeah.
that's important to understand as you go into higher education, because you got to fill in those blanks.
Mhm.
And when you're filling in those blanks, you automatically become more analytical within yourself, not outside of yourself, within yourself. So therefore, you are raising your level of consciousness about the subject and or topic that you're engaged in. Now, this is where your college professor is what he really or she is looking for. How well can you articulate what you have researched, what you understand? That's the difference between that skimming and scanning. You can now regurgitate better instead of saying, oh, you remember, no, I don't know. I want you to tell me.
That's some good stuff right there.
Yeah, well,
That
see,
is when you,
basically, that's what you must understand what you're going up against. And that's that transitioning from high school
yeah.
to college. And we're not making that transitioning. We still want to do the show and tell approach. Remember that? Show and
Oh,
tell?
yeah.
See Dick, see Jane? Remember that? No, you don't. You're too young for that one.
I remember that.
But we take that and we take it to a higher level. Is what, and that's what we're not. That's that transitioning again.
Mhm.
That's what we're not transitioning, because we still want to do it that other way instead of taking it to the higher level. And then when you write a paper and the professor is putting a question mark or underlining something, saying, "What are you saying? What do you
Mhm.
mean?" Well, you haven't expressed yourself. You copied out of the book the line and you just repeated it over again.
You gotta dig deeper.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Does anyone have any other questions?
I know I didn't do that well of a job. Come on, guys.
Well, hi, this
Dr.
is,
Matthews, I know you got to have at least one.
yes, oh my gosh. Well, thank you for conveying, so eloquently your gift as a professor. I mean, it's just, awesome. And so I am interested in you telling us a little bit more about this reading and writing for dummies. And, I think it's partly what you just said about being able to articulate and do more than saying, well, but how is it that tools like that can help equip our college, our entering college students? And in my case, I'm a parent of a sophomore, our continuing students.
Well, again, we have to know what's on our campus. If there's one thing that I over the years and going from campus to campus, I have, but by far, campuses have uh, 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 facilitators on their campuses that can help us. It's that when we go to them, we don't know how to express ourselves as it relates to our needs. I'll give you an example. In counseling, I have spent an hour or more just to get the student to express to me why they were there. Why are you here? Well, you see, no, it's not why. Why are you here? What do you need? Or what do you feel that you need? And what I'm saying by that is that one of the basic things, hopefully, through once our campuses through programs like Emoja, and what the Wooten Center is doing is better preparing students to know who they are, where they are, and how they can better express themselves to get what they need. And the more we can help students to bridge that gap, the better response they're going to get. Because one of the problems with our institutions, and Dr. Matthews, you know, you and I, we take this around and around quite often, is that they're like ivory towers. They expect you to be something when you're there before them so that they can give you what they got instead of reaching down a little bit and picking you up where you are and lifting you up. So we have to be sensitive to that. Parents, when our students go to these institutions, don't you send them out there feeling that they are well prepared, when in most cases they're not going to be, but teach them to have a sense of ownership for what they do not know so that they can request what they need to know so that they won't become what? Lose a sense of self-confidence. And that's, Rebecca, what happens quite often to our students when they get in these institutions. They lose that because the system doesn't intend to make them feel inferior, but because of where the institution is and where they are, that gap, it creates that. This is why within the first 2 weeks, and I've run study over the years with particularly Black male athletes in our community college campus. If they make it beyond 2 weeks, there's a good chance they'll make the semester. If they make the semester, they'll come back the following fall. But we lose them within the first 2 weeks in the first semester because of that gap. Okay, so that's a roundabout way of answering the question, but I think you can see how it brings it full circle of preparation and encouragement on parents. You have to encourage our students. Remember, you push the bird out of the nest, and they're fighting to get the wind under their wing. So we got to make sure that we're up there creating an updraft for them to stay out there. It's not easy for them. It's not, you just can't say, well, you got to do better than I did. Get out there and go get, no. We got to make sure that we're walking and encourage them every step of the way, because they're up against great odds. Even the ones that quite a few that I've ran into over the years and counseled with, who were 3-point plus folk in high school, they still ran into a lot of these obstacles. Why? It's there. It's there. And we got to understand that and work towards. That's why it takes the village to raise the child.
It absolutely does. Thank you so much. That is some really inspirational stuff you're sharing with us, sir. One thing that I kind of, the light bulb for me is when you're saying, like, make sure they even know where the bathroom is. Where's their buildings? Like, we take it for granted. We make assumptions, and no, we got to break it down for them. Yeah. And like you said, give them air for their wings.
Yeah. See, it's the little simple things like that that builds the greater probability to life. Because I'm not worried about the little. It's the little things that take you out the game.
Dang, that's
We know that. Okay. So if I'm not bombarded every day with these little things, and parents, this is where you're so important. You may not know how to talk to them about the math or the science. That is irrelevant. What you got to do is make sure that they know they got a backstop. No matter what happens to them, baby, I got you. Here's my hug for the day. Trust me. It's something as simple as that could mean a great deal to that student who's out there, that they know that they got that love and support at home.
And that's what we're trying to do with these presentations and bringing you and sharing your wisdom. So many thank you, sir, on the chat. So many applause to you. I love this one. Need to know how to own what they don't know, so they know how to ask for what they need. Keep it coming, Dr. Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that stuff is, I want to write it down. I want to put it on my wall so I could share with everybody who has a student who's going into college or planning for college, to share with my own children. These are just nuggets of wisdom that is just worth their weight in gold.
Well, thank you so much. And again,
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. Any other questions before we move on? And thank you all for staying a little bit later. This is something we don't want to cut off. We don't want to stop the dialogue. When it starts coming and it's gushing, we want to take all that wisdom as when we have that opportunity. So thank you all for sticking around. And any other questions, any other comments you want to share? If you don't want to come off mute, go ahead and pop it in the chat and I could share it with the group.
Or Deborah, if it's something that they would like to take offline with me, let me see if I can do this. I'll put my information in, and if they would like to reach out to me.
That's very generous. Thank you. Thank you. So this is something that you can't rewatch, right? We get access to this gem who is helping us be better parents and support our kids and support our incoming freshmen. So please join us every night, because this is what we're trying to do: create resources, create community to help empower not only our youth, but also our parents to support our youth. So thank you so much, sir. I see that in there. ErnieBridges@hotmail.com.
I'm sending you also, I meant to put the phone number in. This is, my number is 24/7.
Wow. It's like a hotline.
Well, I figure if you're gonna call me 2:00 in the morning, it's something that you need.
Oh, so generous. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
2 ways that you can get in touch with me. Please feel free to do so. Just identify yourself so I'll know to whom I'm speaking.
Wooten parent.
And I definitely want to make sure that the Wooten Center knows that all the effort they're putting out there to outreach to the community is well worth it, and it's very well received. Thank you, Wooten Center.
Oh, they're great. I'm so proud and so privileged to be a part and help in some small way. And believe me, I get more out of it than they do. I get to hear all these great resources. I get to hear all these great speakers. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing and opening up your phone and opening up your email to our parents. I believe that they're going to take you up on that offer. Wow. As they should. So as we wrap up tonight, thank you again for being here. Please come back. Please keep in touch.
Well, I would love to do that because I would like to hear from the parents some of the things that we shared with them, whether or not they were able to put it in practice.
Right. Absolutely. Or maybe something's coming up. They have a junior and they're looking come fall to send off their senior. They need this refresher course. Or
Absolutely.
they need deeper.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You will be hearing from us.
Thank you all.
So thank you all for being here. And as always, as your COVID-19 health educator, I want to share some great resources with you all from the County of Los Angeles Department of Public Health. The county continues to offer free testing. It is available regardless of insurance or immigration status. Please reach out to them. Go to covid19.lacounty.gov/testing to find a site. You might not have to have an appointment, but just go to that website. There's some walk-up sites as well. Also, don't forget, as we open up June 15th, next week, being vaccinated, there's going to be some benefits to that. You're going to have less travel restrictions. You're going to be able to enjoy more activities. And more importantly, you have peace of mind that you're not putting yourself or your loved ones at risk for COVID. So for information on getting some vaccination 411, go to vaccinatelacounty.com. Lastly, our wonderful Green Foundation is a donor to the Wooten Center, and they have an amazing COVID resource. So if you need anything from food, utility support as a result of COVID, there's still a resource out there. So email them at info@thegreenfoundation.net or give them a call, 323-229-3411. So as we finish that up, I just want to stop sharing here, and I'm going to change my screens if you all will indulge me. Can you all